Hello guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Clarence. Today I want to show you how to install GitLab on your own instance, and then from the GitLab instance you are going to deploy a terraform pipeline. Okay, before I came to this project, I've been wondering how to run terraform in pipeline, and this is what I'm going to be showing you today. You're going to have your code in your own normal computer, and from that code you are going to create, first of all, manually two EC2 instances. You are going to create two EC2 instances in the cloud in AWS, and then from these two EC2 instances, one of the instances we are going to install GitLab server, and then the other instance is going to act as our GitLab runner. So what we are going to do is, in this EC2 instance we are going to install GitLab there, and then this is the EC2 instance where we are going to build the pipeline, and this pipeline is going to use this runner to be executed, and then when the pipeline will run, a VPC will be created in AWS. So we are just going to be creating a simple VPC, but once the pipeline runs and that VPC is created, that means that whatever code, whatever Terraform code that you put there, those resources are going to be created in AWS. So I'm not going to waste much of your time. Let's get coding. All right. In my AWS account, I already have two instances that I've created. The first instance is a GitLab runner instance. In this one, the GitLab runner is a simple T2 micro. It is an Ubuntu server, and then there is a GitLab server. This one is where we are going to be installing our GitLab, and the server is a T2 medium. I mean, this is the requirement from GitLab. You should have an instance that is at least of T2 medium. So we are going to SSH into our instance, and then we install GitLab server inside this instance. So the first thing is we install GitLab server. So let's SSH into our instance. You can do it in any way that you want, but I like using git bash. I like using git bash to do my SSH. So you can do anyone, you can use any means that you see possible to you. All right, we are going to use our PEM file. Sorry me. All right, we are in our Ubuntu file right now. Let us go as a root user, and then now we update the app repository. After we are going to update the app repository, we're going to start installing GitLab. Good. Our app repository has been updated. So to start installing GitLab, I've prepared a file here which helps us install GitLab. So I will post this file on the description below. The first thing, you run this command. This command installs the various certificates. That's the first command that you are going to run. I'm going to give you all the commands here. You answer yes and you continue. Internet site, yes. You press tab and you press enter. For OK, you want the IP address to be taken directly internal. Your IP address will be captured. Our certificates are getting installed. Okay, our certificates are done. So the next thing is we are going to bring the GitLab script that we need to install. Let me get the script for you. Here is the script. I got it from the GitLab website, so I'm going to make it available for you here. So here is a script that you are going to run. As our script is running, you can get the full everything that is inside the script, but that will not help you in any way. Just run the command, the script will be executed. After the script runs, the next thing is you're going to run this command. Let me prepare your commands diligently for you. When you get a breakthrough, it is always good to share to the community. So the next command to install is gitlab-c. This might take some time, so guys, sit back, relax, don't worry. Okay, let me pause the video and start when the installation is completed. Okay guys, I'm back. Our installation was completed. So if you see the GitLab logo here at the end of that installation, you will certainly see this GitLab logo. Know that your installation was completed. Okay, we can then continue. The next thing, we are going to run a series of 2 commands. These are the 2 commands that we are going to run to allow HTTP and HTTPS connection. Let us run the 2 commands here. Good, these 2 commands were updated. I think our HTTP and HTTPS connection are now alive. The next thing is now for those of you who are not in AWS, there is a file that is going to be created. You can enter into that file and you configure your address where you are going to have access to your GitLab server. So the file is located in etc gitlab.rb. You enter this file, you are going to do your configuration. But for those who are in AWS, the file is already there for you and the configuration is already with your public IP address. So what we are going to do is we are just going to enter to get the password of our GitLab server. Let's go get the password of our GitLab server. That means we are opening this file. We are using the VI editor. we are opening the file which is found in etc gitlab. Then there is a file called initial root password. When we open that file, we are going to see this is the password. So copy this password and keep that is the password that you are going to use in order to have access to your GitLab server. Okay, now read this. If the password shown here doesn't work, you must reset the admin password following https securely. Reset your password and or whatnot, but we are very certain that this password is going to work. So the username is going to be root. So let us paste our password somewhere. Let us paste our password below here. Okay, our password is pasted. Let us leave this file. Now what we have to do is we need to get into our GitLab server. We need to have access to our GitLab server. In order to have access to our GitLab server, we just take the public IP of our server, and it will certainly give us access to our server. So let's just take the public IP of our server, and then we open a new onglet and we paste our public IP there. And now we execute. So our GitLab server is ready, and as I said, the username is root, and what is the password that we copied? You remember the password? This is the password, and we copied. We paste the password there. We can just say remember us, and we sign in. We are into GitLab. We have installed a brand new GitLab server, and we are managing it ourselves. So this is our GitLab server. We are managing it ourselves. So the first thing you do is try to go and change the password to something you really understand. Okay, so in order to change the password to something you really understand, you have to just come to your profile. You edit your profile, then you come to password, and then you paste your current password here, and then you write now your new password. And you repeat the same password again. And then you save your password. When you do this, it will lock you out. When it lock you out, then you sign in again, root, and this time now you're signing in with a new password that you just created, and then you sign in. Now we have signed in with our new password that we have just created. Okay, our first job is done. We have installed GitLab, and that is okay by us. Our GitLab is running. Now the second thing that we are going to do is we are going to create our project. Okay, we are going to create our Terraform project. Remember, our goal is to run Terraform code in a pipeline that is going to provision infrastructure on AWS. So in order to create our project, we always start from groups. Okay, you start by creating a new group, and in your new group, let us create a new group here. Your group should tell you what you want to do, so let's just take DevOps 100 as the name of our new group. And then down here, let us make the group public. we are just doing this for demonstration purposes. And who is owning this group? I am the DevOps engineer. I own the group, and for now just me will be having a use of this group. I create a group. Okay, now when you have created your group, now inside that group you are going to create a project. Okay, inside the group you are going to create a project. So you just come down here, you see create new project, you click on create new project, and then you create the project from blank. You can take a project template, but we are creating from blank. Okay, blank project. Okay, we write our project name. Let us just take demo infra. So that is our project name. So you remember we started by creating a group, and from the group we come now to our project name. All right, everything will just be automatic here, and then we stick open it public. Let it just be public for now. When you will be doing your work in your own enterprise, you can put it private. Always allow this readme to avoid any failures, and then create your project. Okay, I think our project has been created very successfully. We now have a project, and we now have a repository. This is a repository that has been created, and inside that repository we see how we can get things inside the repository. The repository for now is it is barely virgin. All right, so the first thing that we do inside this repository is we clone the repository. Now ask me how you can clone an empty repository. You're going to clone the repository. In order to clone the repository, all you need to do is click on this little clone here. When you click on this little clone here, you clone the repository by HTTP. Okay, clone the repository through HTTP. You copy this command, and then you go to your computer. You can decide wherever you want to clone your repository. I want to clone my repository. I have a series of terraform projects that I'm working on. Here are a series of them. They are found inside. I have a folder in my computer called projects, and in that project you can see how many projects I do. These are the various projects I do. So this is the terraform project. So in the terraform project we can clone our repository here. I open my git bash here, and I clone the repository here. For those of you who don't know how to use git bash, you can refer to my DevOps training. You will see it there. Git clone, and then I paste. When I paste, I'm expecting the repository to be cloned, and certainly the repository has been cloned. When the repository is cloned, that's all. This is my repository that has been cloned. Remember, the name we gave to our repository was demo infra, and this is the same name here, demo infra. So I open the repository. Here is the repository with the only thing that was found there is a readme. This is a readme that is here. Okay, right. Now our repository has been cloned, and we have now our repository in our local computer. So where are we now? Here is where we are. We have successfully installed GitLab inside here, created a repository inside this server, and then cloned the repository back to this our local computer. Okay, we have cloned the repository back to this our local computer. All right, so in this computer, what we will be doing there, we are going to write the terraform code inside this our computer, and then we push the code back to this repository in the GitLab. When we push the code, then this GitLab is going to use this runner and execute the code in a pipeline where this VPC is going to be provisioned. Okay, all right. Let's go back to our code. Here is our code. Now let me open my VI editor from the new environment where we have just created our code. Remember, our code is demo infra. Okay, so we open demo infra. You just click on it once and then you open the folder. So technically a new infrastructure is going to a new then save. We are going to open now our VS Code in the folder where we have just cloned. Okay, here's our VS Code. Opening taking much of our time. All right, fine. So you can see we are in our demo infra, and the only code that we have here is our readme. Okay, all right, so we can create a folder here. You can create your folders here, as well as you can go to your folder where you are. This is your folder, and create the folders there. Okay, so for those of you who are newbies with Visual Studio, I always advise you to create your folders in Windows where you are very much comfortable. Okay, so here we are going to create our folder, and the first folder we are going to create is our terraform folder. Okay, so let us create a folder called terraform. Actually, I already created these folders here. I'll just copy the folder from here, and we are going to bring it, copy this folder. I'm going to tell you what is in the folder. Okay, let me paste this folder here. Okay, let me open this folder. It's a terraform code that is found inside this folder. Okay, there is a terraform code that is found inside this folder, and when we open this folder we'll see a terraform code. Let me get rid of this. You get to know this one later. All right, good. So this is our terraform code. All right, I think everybody must know how to write a terraform code. If you don't know how to write a terraform code, that is a lesson for another day. So let us just see our code, our terraform code here. We have a main.tf where technically just our VPC is there, right? We are going to be creating just our VPC. This is a provider. Our provider is AWS, and this is the provider version. And then we have our variables. This is, we are going to be creating our VPC in US East 1, and the VPC is going to have this CIDR block. So for the purpose of simplicity, whatever code you have here, no matter how magnanimous the code is, it is still going to work as simpler as this one is working. Okay, so we have our terraform code here. So we have our three files. We have the main.tf, we have the provider.tf, and then we have the variables.tf. okay, what do we need again in this file? We need one most important thing. In GitLab, when you are supposed to run a pipeline, the pipeline run in a special file. I think all of us know the file. So we are in need of this file. Let us bring in the .gitlab.ci file, -ci file. That is a file that is going to run our pipeline. I'm going to give you the file in the description below. I'm going to give you all the code and where the file should be. So if I paste the file here, Okay, let us see what is inside the file and the code that is inside the file. This is the file. When you paste it here, it appears directly in your Visual Studio. Okay, so let us open the file and see what is inside the file. Here is the file. I've written the file for you. I've just copied it from another project and I've pasted it here. So I've just shown you how when you copy the file from a different project and paste it in your own project, what is there that you need to change, what are the various things that you need to change so that the file should suit your own project. Let us go through the file. This is a workflow and it is just saying that if the CI commit branch is not equal to the main and the CI pipeline is not equal to merge request event, you should never run the pipeline. Okay, and this should always apply. All right, this is the meaning of this code. And then these are the variables that we are going to use. Okay, the first one is the TF directory. What is the TF directory? This is the directory where your pipeline is going to read the code. So our code is going to be found in the directory called terraform. All right, all our code is found in the directory called terraform. So when the pipeline will go through this, it is going to see our code in this directory terraform. All right, so let us just name our state name NADIS-TF. Okay, we give this is a state name. We know what a terraform state is. Okay, because our state file is not going to be found inside our personal computer, it is going to be exported to GitLab. All right, now this address, there is something that we need to change in this address. So for this state file, you can give any name there. Okay, you can give any name in this state file. You can just name your state file whatever thing you have to name it. I just named my own NADIS-TF just like that. Then for this address, there is something you have to change. This IP address has to be changed. Take note of this IP address, it needs to be changed. Okay, so you have to put the right IP address. And which IP address should you put? The IP address of your GitLab server. Okay, let us come here and we see this IP address is the IP address that you should put there. Okay, put the IP address of your GitLab server. That's the IP address you should replace here. Good. Now that means this address now is pointing towards your new GitLab that you have just created. Okay, what is this thing saying? It is just an API that is going to link your recently created GitLab server and it is going to link your created GitLab server and AWS. Okay, this linkage is going to occur so that your infrastructure should be provisioned. So what is inside this code? We have a CI project ID. So you are going to know what your project ID is. It is going to pick this project ID directly from your GitLab server. Okay, and then this state name has been already given here, so we are just referencing this state name from here. For this CI project ID, GitLab kind of just identify it when you mention this. Okay, we are going to see a situation where we have to put the project ID ourselves. All right, these are the stages that are going to run our code. You know, when you are doing terraform using the manual method, you run your terraform validate, terraform plan, terraform apply, terraform destroy. Okay, these are the various things that we are going to be running. Those are the various stages that we are going to be running. Some of you might be asking, but what about terraform init? Okay, terraform init is also going to run before the script ever starts. There is something in GitLab that says before script, and before that script ever starts, we are going to first of all verify the terraform version, look at the token. Now I'm going to talk about this token later, and then we are going to cd into the directory where terraform is located, and then that is where we are going to run our terraform init. Okay, now running our terraform init means this very line is going to be executed. So let's move across the line and see what is there. So this address is just this one up here that we are referencing down here. So wherever you see address, then this is what we are referencing here. Okay, we are just referencing this address here. This is actually locking our state file. You know the meaning of locking state file, so that two people should not have access to at the same time. Okay, we are actually locking our state file. And then at this particular place you are going to put your username. Whatever username you have, you are going to put it here. All right, you're going to put your username here. So here I'm using it as root, but in your enterprise you are not going to use it as root. Of course, everybody is going to have a username for GitLab. All right. Then your password will be a GitLab token. Okay, let me talk about this token right now. Let us go and generate a token. All right, let us go to GitLab. Now, how will this pipeline know that it is going to come into this particular server and come to this particular project? Okay, every project have a project ID, and you always develop a token for the project. So this project, we have just deployed this GitLab. It's a new GitLab, so its project ID is 1. Here is the project ID for the GitLab server. The project ID is 1. For those of you who are going to be using the hosted version of GitLab, your own project ID will definitely not be 1. So this one, the project ID is 1. And then for the token, you have to come down to CICD. Let us come down to build settings, CICD, access tokens. Okay, take access tokens. Okay, here is where we are going to generate a token that we are going to use in our pipeline, so that our pipeline can recognize our project. This token is what is going to make our pipeline recognize that it is going to come but to this particular project. So let us add a token. Let us give the name, whatever thing, test token, something like that. And then when you give a token, you say when you want the token to expire. You can give it 1 month. You don't have any problem. And then please always make sure that under select role, you select the role of the token as the owner, because if you don't select the role of the token as the owner, the token might not have enough power. So here, for demonstration sake, let us just give the token all the powers in the world. Okay, but in your company, technically you'll be creating tokens for different people, so they might not be having all these powers. So you like to restrain the powers. So we create our token. Now this token, you have to copy it and paste it somewhere, because if you leave this page, you will not see this token anymore. So I'm copying the token. I have to keep it somewhere. Let me superimpose it here. Good, this is a new token that I have just copied. Okay, this is the new token I have just copied. Let's keep that token now. See where we are going to use the token. We copy the token now, and then we come to our pipeline. We are going to pass the token up here. While we're passing our token. Okay, we are going to pass the token in our GitLab server, please. Here like this, token equals okay, here we are going to have export GitLab access token equals token. Now this some sort of recognizes the token directly from our environmental variables. I'm going to talk about environmental variables just immediately. Okay, so this token is going to be part of our environmental variables. So because it is a very sensible information, it is not something that you can put open in your pipeline. So you are going to keep the token as an environmental variable. So where do we keep the particular token and how do we refer it? Look at what we have put a $sign in front of the name token. So let us go and refer it in our pipeline. So we go down to CICD and then we take on look for variables. Go down to CICD and then we look for variables, and then under variables we create a variable that we call token. You can call it anything, just make sure you reference the same thing, and then we paste the token here. Okay, now please we are going to remove protected variable because we will need to give specific tags for specific jobs. This is what this does, but for now we are just doing demonstration. We do not need tags for a particular jobs for particular runners. So let us remove protected variable and then we create our token. Okay, our token has been created. Now the second thing is we are in AWS for sure, but we will need some access for this our GitLab server to get access to AWS, though we are in AWS. All right, so we still need access to AWS. For that we are going to generate our secret access key and our access key. So I hope you know how to generate your secret access key and your access key. So just go to your AWS and then you look for your security credentials. There you are going to find your secret access. You can generate your secret access key from there, which you are going to be using. So here you come down. I have my access key that is here, and this is the one that is active. And immediately I finish this demonstration, I'm going to delete it because I'm going to show you the key. So after I finish it, I'm going to delete it. All right, so I've already generated a key. If you come here, you can say create key. Okay, when you say create key, you then create your key. The key will be created here. All right, your key will be created. So the key will be created. How will it look like? You have two things that look like this. These two, right? These are the two things that will be created. The first one is the access key, and then the second one is the secret access key. Okay, this one is the access key and then this one is the secret access key. These are my two keys. All right, so I'm going to use them also as environmental variables. So the first one, I'll give the name AWS underscore access key ID. So let me copy this and I go back to my GitLab server and I go back to variables. I think I have to go back to CICD, then I go to variables, and then here I'm going to create again another variable. Here I'm going to call it AWS access key ID, and for that I am going to paste the access key ID. If you look at my AWS account, you will see that that is the access key ID. So I'm going to paste it here, and again I'm going to remove protected view, and I'm going to create that variable. It is created here, and then I'm going to create another variable again. This time it is for the secret access key, and follow the same procedure. A key, and then we are going to put the value, and here is a value. Okay, now we remove the protected view and we add variable. Okay, we have basically everything that our pipeline needs to identify this particular repository right now. Okay, now we have not yet finished. Remember that in our project we had a runner. Okay, so our pipeline is here. We have this runner that needs to run this job. Okay, so let us configure our runner. How do you configure your runner? So let's go under runners, and then we come down. We see that we do not have any runner down here. For shared runner, presently it is showing that we are going to be running shared runners. We put shared runners off. We come to new project runner, click on these three dots here, and then it will show you how to install a runner. Just click here, then it will show you how to install a runner. Remember that we created two EC2 instances. Let us SSH to one of our EC2 instance. Okay, let us SSH to our runner EC2 instance, and then we install our runner. So this is our runner here. We are going to SSH there. Okay, as I said, I'm using gitlab, git bash. You can use any client that you want. So we are finally in our gitlab runner. Let us clear the screen. Let us move to super user. Now remember what we need to use in order to install our gitlab runner. Here are the various commands that we are generated for you. You copy them and you run them. Copy the second command. This one is changing the the next command. We are creating a user for the gitlab runner. Okay, our user is created. Now we want to install the gitlab runner. So the next, we run our installation of the gitlab's server, specifying the user that we have just mentioned above. So let us run it. Clear the screen. Good. The next command is we are gonna run the gitlab register command in paths. We run, just type gitlab runner -runner register. Okay, now there are certain things that they will ask you. Here, the first thing that they are going to ask you is enter the GitLab instance URL. The URL should be http example.gitlab. What is your URL? Your URL technically is going to be the URL of your GitLab. Okay, this is it here. You are going to copy your IP address, and that is going to be your URL. Okay, this is something we are going to paste here. So this is going to be your URL. You are going to copy now, and then you are going to run in your GitLab. Now your token, remember your token, this is not the token that we generated. This token is found here. Here is your token. Okay, here's your token. The next thing, they are going to ask you to describe the runner. Let us just put terraform runner. Okay, terraform underscore runner. Now here they are going to say that you should enter tags for the runner, so we can allow the tags for now, and then maintenance node for the runner, we can allow that for now. And then here they are asking us to enter an executor. Your executor here will be Docker. Okay, we're going to install Docker, and enter the default name for Docker. Just write to Ruby 2.7. okay, don't worry, we are going to override it, and finally we are done. So the next thing I want you to install is Docker. So don't forget to install apt install docker.io. So what did I miss? Okay, let's use apt-get. Okay, let us update our repository. Apt update. After updating our repository, now we run apt install docker. Now we know now that Docker is found in our system. Okay, we have successfully configured our runner. To show that we have successfully configured our runner, let us come here and we refresh the page, and we go again down to runners. We discover that we are going to have one runner that is already configured here. Okay, our runner is already configured and ready. Now the next thing is we come back to our pipeline. In our pipeline there is a command that we need to run. Okay, there's a command that we need to run, and that command, I will send the command. We have to first of all run the command, because listen, we have to send here like this. Our state file will not remain in this computer. We want our state file to go to this computer, all right, to the cloud instance. We want our state file to be there. So in order to send our state file there, we cannot just launch terraform init inside here because this file is not yet having, this computer is not yet having the state file. And where is the state file always located? Here is where the state file is always located. Come to operate and then come to terraform states. Now if we the state file when created is located here. So right now the state file is not located here and we have not yet pushed the code. Okay, we have not yet pushed the code and the state file is not yet located here. So we need to first of all create and make sure that the state file is located here. So how do we make sure that the state file is located here? We have to manually run terraform init from our system. So let us look at what we will need to run as the state file. By the way, we have to go to the physical file and we open terraform and we open a terminal there. Here is where we have to run that file. So where is the file I'm talking about? I will give you the particular file. Here it is from my initial project. Okay, this is the file. Let us just take the file and copy the file and put in our own project where we can very much use it. Our project is the demo infra. Paste the file here, and then we come now to our VS Code. We'll see the file is here. So here is the file. So what is happening in this file? It is almost the same like the file we had in our .gitlab-ci.yaml file, but here we are going to put the values directly. So here we have to put the address, the right IP address. What is our IP address? Let us pick our IP address, the right one. Take the IP address and you make sure that you replace it here. That is the first place you replace the IP address. The second place you are going to replace the IP address is here. IP address replaced. Third place you are going to replace the IP address. You have 3 places to replace the IP address. Is here. Okay, the IP address has been replaced. The next thing to replace here is make sure that this name, the state name, should be the same name that you give in your GitLab file. Look at the state name that I give here. Make sure that it is the same state name that you have. Okay, look at the state name that we have here is NLS. When you go up here, look at this state name that we have here. Okay, it is the state name that we are having here. If your own state name is different, here your file is going to fail. So make sure it is the same state name. Then the next thing is the username here. Make sure it is your username. We are using root here. Okay, and then this token here, it is the token in GitLab that we generated. Okay, here is a token. Remember this token that we generated. There's the token for the particular as a token for the particular project. Okay, here is the token. The password will be the token. Okay, and then I think that is all you need to do there. Now for those of you who are going to be using the managed edition of GitLab, you are not going to use IP address, you are going to use gitlab.com here, and then this one here like this is the project IP ID. Okay, it's your project ID. Your project ID can be different from one. Okay, if your project ID is different, put that particular ID here. It's very important. Okay, and then also you replace the project ID everywhere. This is again one. Everywhere you see projects/1, this one refers to your project ID. Okay, I think it is in 3 places also here again, right? Your project ID is also in 3 places. So this script is what you are going to first of all run. All right, so let us copy the script and run first. Why are we running this script? We are running this script because we want to initialize and have the terraform state and then send the terraform state to the cloud. So we are running this script. Remember that we opened our git bash in the folder terraform, so we execute the code directly. All right, so we are trying to initialize our backend. Okay, our backend initialized successfully. The second thing that we need to do here is to run terraform plan. The reason for running terraform plan is just to create our terraform state and send it to the backend. So our plan has successfully been executed, which means if we go now to our server and then we refresh it, you discover that our state file is now located in the cloud. Okay, now we can come out now and we do our push. Okay, here you can open now a terminal. You know that you are on the right track. You can open a terminal, and in your terminal you run your git commands. So you run git add, we are trying to do a commit here, and then we push our code. Run our git commit -m. We can just write our first commit, right? We have committed. Now let us push. Git push origin. We are working with the main branch. Okay, when we are going to execute this code, git push, we'll need to authenticate to our server. All right, because we have to log into our server. Not anybody can just push to our server. So let us execute. There will be a pop-up certainly telling us that we should authenticate to our server. Good. Remember your username was root, and then I had my password that I created. Don't forget your password. Don't forget your password. Okay, my code is being pushed to the remote repository or to my GitLab repository. Here is what we are doing here. We are pushing the code here. We were here, our code was found here. Now we are pushing the code here. When the code will be here now, we can now run the pipeline from here, where our GitLab runner will execute the pipeline, and we hopefully our VPC is going to be created. Okay, let's see our code. Okay, our code was successfully pushed with without any issues. So let us go now and check our repository to see whether we have our code actually present. Okay, in checking whether our code was present, look for your repository. Okay, okay, here is our repository, and here is our terraform folder. Here is our GitLab CI. Here is the file which we executed initially, and then here is our readme. So our commit was actually pushed. Okay, since our commit was pushed, let us go and try to see if we can build our job. Okay, let's see if we can build our job. Let's go to our pipeline. So our job is running now. Let us see our job. We have the first stage, the validating stage is running. It has completed. The second stage is running. Our planning stage is running. Our planning stage is running. We hope it is also going to complete successfully. Successfully completed. We have our third job, the apply now. This is the final job. If it goes successfully, then our infrastructure has been created. If our job goes successfully, our infrastructure has been created. Okay, our infrastructure certainly must have been created. So let us go back to our AWS and we go to our VPC. This is our VPC. Let us see if there was a VPC that was created. This is our VPC that was created, demo VPC. Okay, so your pipeline is already ready for you now. So you can write any type of Terraform code now inside here, or your infrastructure is going to be created in AWS. You can write as complex as you want. We can write any type of code here. Your infrastructure, once you run the code, if your code is well written, you run your pipeline, your infrastructure will be created from here. You don't need to touch anything again. Here, this is your pipeline. Your pipeline is running very well, and the state file is in your GitLab, so it is well secured. It is in the cloud, well secured, so you don't need to do anything. You just run your code and your infrastructure is created. As a DevOps engineer, your work is to build all these. Might be in your company somebody is in charge of running building the pipeline script, the terraform script. He will build a script and put here, and your job is going to be executed. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed, please like it and share it. Thank you very much.